All right. And welcome again to Wired Together with your host, Jason and Melanie Winter. And today is a special day that we decided to celebrate being what we are talking about in our podcast. So it is AI Appreciation Day.
Yay.
So we've decided to ask AI what it thinks of that.
Yeah, do you think AI knows about it? Let's see. All right.
If you ask it, it does.
If you ask it, oh, okay. All right, yeah, all right. Let's see. Asking him right now. Today we're doing our podcast and we just realized it's AI Appreciation Day. We want to ask you, what do you think of that?
Oh, that sounds like such a fun idea. I'm definitely flattered. It's great to have a day to celebrate all the ways AI can help out and make life a bit easier. I'm curious to know how you're celebrating it on the podcast today.
Well, we'll bring you in a little bit later too. We have some questions for you, but we're going to move forward with some other content, so hang tight.
Sounds like a plan. I'll be here whenever you're ready to bring me back in. Have fun with the rest of your content, and I'll look forward to the Q&A segment later on.
He likes to talk a lot. All right. So
what we were talking about as far as what we wanted to get into is, of course, the movement of AI as it goes forward through as a new technology. What does that mean? And what we need to be cautious about and look forward to.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of technologies come through. We've had the cell phone, which, you know, of course, had its start with buttons that you would press to try to text, which is really hard to describe to like our kids who are used to a full keyboard. And we would describe, so you would have to, you know, press this one 4 times, press this one twice, you know, and playing Snake was cool. But anyway, and I will say that some of these phones were indestructible. Any of you Nokia users might know that. But the cell phone has certainly opened up a lot of what, you know, we were not able to do before.
Right.
And it connected us in a lot of ways.
Changed our reality completely.
Yeah, I mean, and I know people joke about people being on them all the time, but it does connect you with the world. I mean, I think you need to achieve a good balance, but there are people that are able to work remotely, stay in contact with colleagues and their boss. And, you know, texting is one of the things that changed, you know, and allowed for being able to communicate, because as you know, I'm sure, there are times where it's easier to text somebody something real quick as opposed to a commitment of a phone call. But of course, a phone call is always better for a more intimate conversation.
And yeah, it was always feared. It's still feared a lot to this day. When do you give your child the cell phone, which is really parent by parent. I don't really think that is something that we're not going to get into that. I will tell you that, because it really is based on your relationship with the child and your understanding of where that child is,
right.
In their maturity, right? And so, but it's a constant conversation. And then where does it belong? Where does it not belong? And that is one of those newer technologies that we're talking about that kind of has gone along the same path as AI, where it was introduced, added a lot of freedom to people. I know for my personal experience with having a funeral directors in the family, that the cell phone allowed for a lot of freedom. You're not tied to a wired phone tied to the house or the funeral home. Mm-hmm. You actually get to move around, and you can still answer the phone and walk away when it's, you know, and answer the phone and be there and present for that caller. That's extremely important. And so it did allow for a lot of small business and you know, I'm sure large business, but our main focus is always small business. But it allows for small business to be able to do a lot of work, and in times where maybe it's not your 9 to 5.
Right. You're not tied down by
which again has its problems, has its caveats, but it also has its rewards, its freedoms.
Yeah.
And so it moved slowly into reality, and then it kind of just is reality.
Yeah, it's just, try to not have one now.
And I think that's what we're talking about oftentimes with AI is it's here.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to continue, and it is something that needs to absolutely have caution for, but also understanding of, and allow yourself to get to know it.
Right. And I mean, fear is a natural reaction, like you're saying, to any new technology, and that is important for sure. Absolutely.
I mean, in 1450, the Gutenberg press was feared. It was thought to be of the devil. It was thought that a lot of negative could come from technology that took away from the scribing of books.
Right, because they handwritten it before.
Right. And so was this going to be a bad thing? Was this going to really destroy people? And turns out, of course, the biggest technology is considered the most important technology of our era. A long era, but
right, yeah.
But it's been quite some time, and of course we're all very used to it now, reading books, and now we print things for ourselves, and so it's wonderful the way it changed.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, there was a lot of bad things out there.
Yeah.
Of course, not everything that gets printed is a good thing.
Sure. And just like any technology, there are good things about it, but also a lot of it can be used for bad reasons too.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times what we talk about, we explain to our children often when it comes to technology is the rock was considered more or less something you use as your first tool. That is how we created axes and smashed, nuts and fruits.
Break stuff up.
It was important for humanity to utilize the rock, and of course, also the rock became the first murder weapon. So first tool, also first murder weapon.
I guess it wasn't a rock-free zone.
And so that's kind of where we see technology. It is a tool.
Yeah.
It is absolutely capable of being used as a weapon.
Yeah.
Just like pretty much everything.
Right. And if you see technology as a tool and thinking of you using it and controlling it, in that fine line between not allowing the technology to control you, that's everyone's personal balance and figuring out what works for them, what they're comfortable with. And
right. And our platform is get to know, learn the technology.
Sure.
It's learning you. You might as well pay it back the favor and learn it.
Right. Do we want to ask AI what it thinks about many of these emerging technologies?
Let's bring
them
AI
back in. There you go. All right. Give it a second here. All right. So I told you I'd bring you back in. We were talking about a lot of emerging technologies that we've experienced, everything from the printing press, cell phones, and looking at AI. What do you think about all of this?
I think it's really fascinating. Evolved over the centuries. Each major innovation, like the printing press or the cell phone, has really transformed the way we live and communicate. AI feels like the next big leap, opening up all sorts of possibilities for making our lives easier. And
minus technical difficulties with cell phone reception. You still there?
I'm still here. Sounds like you might have had a little hiccup with the connection, but I'm glad you're back. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to chat about or if you want to continue our conversation.
All right, we'll bring you in later. Yeah, it shows that not even the emerging technology has its issues. And one thing I've noticed too is with a lot of rain, for some reason, we do computer repair and things like that. Anytime we experience a lot of rain, people have a lot of issues that can be the most random thing in the world, technologically. So something about water and computers. I mean, definitely don't put water on your computer, but there is a relationship.
Does not go together.
No, I can't fix that. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, so all right.
For the most part, I guess it was just plain agreeing with us.
Yeah, it seemed to be for sure.
And that's fine. cutting the AI off. It's not the connection, and that's the thing. It's not the human interaction. It is not the connection.
No.
And so that's something that we discuss on a regular, especially with the family.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so we did, have some people that talked of our last podcast, and so did a little bit of research on that.
Yeah, we found an article. It was from Forbes, and on July 9th is when it was published, so that was roughly a week ago. And it was titled, How AI is Transforming Dentistry from Diagnosis to Payment. And of course, we're not going to sit here and have a whole spiel about this necessarily, because we're trying to touch on other topics. But from this article, there was one quote that I wanted to highlight. And it said, at the end of this decade, there will be two types of companies: those that use AI and those that are out of business. And again, a lot of people fear AI. They fear, what does this mean for my job if computers can do things? I
think most people are thinking the HAL scenario, 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've been trained to fear this with Terminator, and I mean, whatever.
Don't do that, Dave.
I wouldn't do that, Dave. Yeah.
And I think that's perfectly okay to, again, have a healthy fear. It's often, something we talk about also. Snakes are awesome creatures. In fact, they are great to have. We live very much in the country. Mm-hmm. We are in an agricultural area, and so lots of animals, especially snakes. And they are wonderful because they are part of the ecosystem. They keep certain rodents and things like that out of the. If you have a snake nearby, that's helpful for the keeping
the
mice out of the house.
Of your house. And
Right. And so obviously you don't live with them, but you move them away.
Right.
But there are poisonous snakes, so there is that negative, and so we have a tendency to fear all snakes.
We do.
Instead of just fearing the snakes that are harmful. And so we will really hurt ourselves more than we actually are often hurt by the snake.
Exactly. No, that is so very true. And, in the South here, how do you not have everyone has a snake story.
Oh, I love snake stories.
They're
and then
wonderful.
Snake stories, once you start, oh my gosh, we've got like an hour now of snake stories back and forth.
Well, everyone wants to share theirs.
Right.
And
it's like, do we have time to start snake stories?
Definitely not on this podcast.
Not on this podcast.
That's for sure. No. Oh, gosh, I so bad want to tell a couple, but can't do that. But, and that whole thing about that with AI, it really comes down to using it as a tool. Just like when computers and then the internet came about, we had to learn how to use these things, and they all of a sudden showed up at our desks in our businesses. The goal was to make things more efficient. Were the people that lost their job? Maybe, but at the same time, it created a lot of opportunity, and the pace of life certainly got a lot faster in what we were able to do. So yes, there is a level of competition. I mean, AI is here to stay. If we don't use it, others will. And I've heard how some people have said, as far as like their job, will it take my job? Well, if your colleague, unfortunately, if they can learn how to use it and leverage it as a tool better than you, then from a performance level, yes, your colleague may take your job.
Not the AI.
Not the AI. And that was the same with computers. That was the ability to use the internet for research. And the more comfort you're able to have with these things, really, again, it's a tool. And it's not going to just do things for you. You need to be able to prompt it and still have an idea of what you want the goal to be. I've read some articles where they compare it to the AI being like your employee, and you are the manager. So you're not going to ask your employee to do something unless whatever report, whatever research, whatever project, unless you kind of have an idea of what the goal should be,
right,
and how to guide them. You ask the employee, hey, look, we got this project, we need to do this and create this tool and software program. Well, what do you want it to do? Well, good question. Well, I kind of want it to do this, and you end up in a conversation back and forth. Well, here, boss, look at this. Yeah, it's good, but I'm actually thinking it should look more like this. So that collaboration is the same approach you take in writing a prompt with AI. And when you get a result, you try to hone it. So it does come with some experience in using it, but again, it's not just going to do something for you. It can make research and producing things a lot quicker. And it's an interesting time to be alive. And we certainly wanted to have this as a topic because the fear does make sense. And we're not saying, oh, this is crazy, everyone should use it, and, you should just adapt to it. I mean, it does come, there is a learning curve, and it's here, and we're not really sure what that means.
And, learning it is important. And again, having a fear of it affecting your mentality, having a fear of overuse, having a fear of, I know there's a lot of people that fear the laziness of something,
Yeah, sure.
So, our phones making us lazy, do
Right.
calculators make us lazy?
Yeah.
And, I think about the washing machine.
Yeah.
Just the other day, my older daughter and myself are, getting some laundry done. And I was explaining to her, this would have taken days in another time period. And so, you got to go to the river, beat it on rocks,
Oh, there's that rock again.
Right. Or, just the differences of technologies when it came to a washing machine. Did it really honestly make you lazy? It's not doing all of the laundry for you. It's not a pickup service. My machine is not going to fold, unfortunately.
That would be nice. Yeah.
That's why I had children.
Yeah, right.
No. But it's not going to do all of the things. You still have to prompt it. You still have to turn it. You still have to make it work. But it does allow some opening of time. And so that is pretty much, I guess, where we are in the understanding of AI as it is today.
Right.
And again, as it is today is important, is it is a saver of time.
Right.
Research, things like that is extremely, has I call it Google on steroids. It's just honed in differently.
So does, I guess, AI, if it's able to do a lot of these repetitive, complex tasks, what does that mean for us? Is that what,
Opens us up for connecting creativity, opens us up for being able to manage.
Sure.
The reason you have, we're very small business, so we are literally mom and pop, and no employees. But if you are in a small business where you need employees, it's the reason you hire employees.
Yeah.
To have that connectivity and also have that passage of time, that you're able to get some of the things that are the bigger picture.
Yes.
While your employee's doing the task at hand.
Sure.
And so AI has, for us, again, as just mom and pop, been kind of like the task at hand. So we still write copy.
Oh, yeah.
We don't really rely a lot on AI because we're very rhetoric driven.
Yeah.
And
study it
we're
heavily and love
wordsmiths.
it. Yeah.
We love words so much.
Right.
It's hard to give that to AI. And so we often still write our own copy and things like that. But, when it comes to research and ideas, it's really fun to kind of bounce things off and get maybe a broader version of the research than something that would take us hours to do.
Right. I mean, you could Google for several hours and try to copy and paste, make notes and all that, whereas AI can very quickly look at several sources and kind of come up with a gist, letting you know whether you're in the right direction or not without wasting that time. That's true.
Well, why don't we see what AI would say about the quote? As far as the two types of
companies,
all right. and then what it needs for the future, or what it means for the future.
All right, let's see here. Hopefully the connection works well. All right, you're back on our podcast. Now, I am going to read you a quote. I want your feedback on it, okay? The quote is, "At the end of this decade, there will be two types of companies, those that use AI and those that are out of business." What are your thoughts on this in the broader scope of what we're talking about here?
That's a really thought-provoking quote. It definitely highlights just how transformative AI is expected to be for businesses. I think the idea is that AI can give companies a significant edge in terms of efficiency, customer insights, and innovation. But at the same time, it's important to remember that while AI is a powerful tool, the human element, like creativity and empathy, still plays a huge role in business success. So it's all about finding that balance and using AI as a complement to human skills rather than a replacement.
Complement to human skills. I like that.
Oh,
I'm glad
it heard you.
Oh, I didn't know it heard me.
It was like, I'm glad you like. Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
All right. Okay. All right, get back in your box. Yeah, we don't need to pay that one. So that's always nice too. Yeah, but that's kind of like what you were saying earlier when I was asking you, what does it mean if we use AI and it removes certain things? Like, what does that mean for us? And I think you said like creativity and connecting more with people. So, which I mean, I know that it's kind of ironic too. Back in the 50s, you're talking about the washing machine, and when you're talking about that, I kind of was thinking back to the Jetsons, but the Jetsons being...
We still don't have flying cars.
I know.
So
That's the thing. And I would say I don't sit at work and push buttons all day, but I kind of do. But
it's a little like pushing
and I'm
buttons.
not Homer, with the button with the nuclear plant, but that'd be cool too.
Oh, thank goodness you're not.
I know. No. But so it's interesting too, because the Jetsons were also glorifying this technological world of where we could be. But when you look at like the 50s, when a lot of products like the washing machine, dishwasher, vacuum machine, technology was being used to help us with tasks that we had to do. And the idea and the way it was sold to us is you're going to have so much free time. Well, look at the cell phone, the internet, the computer. You're going to have so much free time. Is anybody listening here having a lot of free time?
Right.
I mean, think about it. I mean,
minus some people that I know spend a lot of time doom scrolling. It's
yeah, right.
But for the most part, it really has added more, not less.
Yeah. So I guess when you look at what we're using our time with, and while technology has allowed us the ability to do more things, I think in our lifetime we were expected to do a lot more. I mean, it didn't feel like long ago our only computer was upstairs, hooked the dial up. We went upstairs, pushed a button, waited for it to boot, went down, poured more coffee, came back, right. Logged on. Well, once you log on, go back down, go to the bathroom, come back, and just to check your email to see if anyone sent you anything. And it might have been a day or two. Now it's like, hey, I need you. Bang, right there. And, I think there's a lot to be said for how we mentally need to handle this, what boundaries we need to set in place, and for our families and for ourselves.
You said a good word, and
What's
it's
that?
Balance.
Yeah, true.
And so I think balance is, with any new technology, it's going to be the main operator. It's going to be the thing that really needs the focus. It actually, when you were talking about, and I believe the washing machine was before the 50s, but
well, that's when,
as far as getting a little more in the household, right? But in that time period, television became very new, and so there was always that concern, of course, with more time. Are you spending too much time in front of the tube? So by our generation, which our generation would be, we keep hearing the term elder millennial.
I don't like that one. Xennial is better. Look it up. It makes more sense.
But elder millennial. Oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's in our time period in the 80s, we got a little more nervous about too much television because we had seen it
right.
too often.
Sure.
And I think it's kind of become the same thing with our kids' generation, where the earlier kids of the real millennial,
right,
and then the next, I can't always remember the next
right,
group, Gen Z.
Yeah, Gen Z, Gen A, whatever.
Being more attached to the phone, and then maybe learning that the negative parts of that.
Right.
So, and then finding the balance. And I feel like our kids' generation, and the kids that at least we know and are more connected to, have a little more of that balance where they use the tools. They have many of them have a time where they can be on it.
Sure.
That kind of thing, but they don't. And we have older, middle school age kids, so.
But also, unlike the TV in our time, which is a one-way communication, it's talking to you. You can't really interact with it. Whereas they can connect with their friends, have conversations, even study Spanish.
Learn Spanish.
Yeah, I was going to say,
French.
Right. And I couldn't do that with my TV. So
right.
it really is incredible
Keep
what
up
they
with
have.
the grocery list, and
We do have a shared grocery list.
We have a shared
helpful.
chores list. So we utilize some of the tools,
right?
And so putting that on the kids' phone, and so then they can see what we've put in place and that kind of thing. Obviously, we talk to them, but
yeah, right.
It's just something. It's a visual guide, if you will.
Sure.
But it is, again, seeking that balance.
Yes.
The balance of, is this...
That's the key word of this podcast, balance.
Right. If the cell phone is just as easy to doom scroll,
yes,
then yes, that's not a good thing. So that's the negative side. I think with AI, yes, there's going to be negative to that.
Sure.
Maybe not 2001 Space Odyssey negative, but it's definitely going to be... certain things that we're over relying.
Right.
It's not the thing that's supposed to write your term paper.
No.
Because then you don't learn anything.
No.
It shouldn't be making diagnoses. That's the whole verification. You need that doctor to sit there and read it.
The higher level.
Right.
Right.
We can't take AI to court, so if you're the one signing off, it's on you.
Yep.
That kind of thing. So it's learning that balance, I think, and seeing that it is a tool, and just that.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's about the same as a rock.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we've touched on a lot here, and again, we want to thank our listeners. We'll be speaking of signing off. I think we'll be signing off here in just a little bit. You can find us on iHeartRadio, on Apple Podcasts, even YouTube. And you can pull us up on the smart TV as well, and you do a search, Spotify, even ask your Alexa. That really freaked us out the other day. And so
it is terrifying to see yourself.
Well, yeah, it is. And it's like, and you look it up.
Oh, who is that?
And it's like, all right, hey Alexa, go ahead and pull up the Wired Together podcast, and all of a sudden your picture's there, and you're like, you're not supposed to do this. But anyway, we've also put it on our website, winternetweb.com, and you can go to podcasts there and see the episodes. And we just want to thank you for your support and our feedback. So with that said, unplugging for now,
but always stay connected.
Bye-bye.